Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Diaries. Now, if you're wondering why I'm looking like a 50s housewife, or like my mum said, why I'm looking like the Queen, she thought I looked like the Queen, there's actually a reason for it. I was trying to dress up like someone who would be celebrating VE Day back 75 years ago, the day it happened, because today is the 75th anniversary of VE Day, which is Victory in Europe Day, which is when it was officially announced that war in Europe had ended. The Second World War was officially over. People were dancing in the streets, people were going crazy, people were dressed to their nines, and they were just dancing and celebrating, and people were returning home, and war was over, and they could open their curtains, and they could let the light in, and they could freely walk around without any fear. And that is what VE Day is, and that is what we're remembering today. So I thought we would celebrate mine with a little party. Usually for days like this, and for this day in particular, there's celebrations all throughout London. And today they were actually going to have a big concert at the Royal Albert Hall, and they were going to do a variety of other things throughout the city to celebrate. But because of Corona, unfortunately, we couldn't do that. But, we can still celebrate. And that is why I want to tell you guys tips and tricks to have a VE Day party like I'm going to have today. So before we do that, I just really want to talk about VE Day. I want to talk about World War II, without people fighting for us and people risking their lives and sacrificing themselves, we wouldn't actually be here today. We just would not be here. There would be no freedom, and life as we know it would not exist, right? So it's just so important to remember that whether you have a party, whether you don't, whatever you do, it's just so important to remember those people who fought back in the day. And I also just want to think about the wars that are still going on around the world. We are lucky and blessed enough to live in this free country where we don't need to worry about any of these wars right here on our doorstep, and we are free and we are celebrating something that happened 75 years ago. But for people in other countries, war isn't history, war is now. So we want to also remember them and think about them and keep them in our thoughts and prayers as well. And hopefully there will be a day soon where peace is a universal thing and not just in some countries. But having said that, we just do want to celebrate the peace that we have, because we are really blessed to have that. And I want to just remember the people that gave their lives for us so that we could be here today talking about this. And it's just so sad that there's just people now that don't really care very much about World War II, about VE Day, when it's so important. It's so important. It really is. And I've always been such an advocate for the silences and for the celebrations and for the remembering and for the lest we forget and all of that. Because I know a lot of people aren't, and I just don't really get that. But a little rant over and little introduction over. We're going to jump into our party details now. So throughout the day, show channels such as the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, Sky News, all of these channels will be showing various things to commemorate this special day. In the morning, we obviously had our minute silence at 11 a.m. I hope everyone kind of managed to do that, and that was really cool. Then there were documentaries on various things that happened during VE Day. And then at 3 p.m, they played Winston Churchill's speech that he gave to announce that it was all over. And he gave that at 3 p.m. on this day, 75 years ago. On the 8th of May, 75 years ago, he gave the speech in 1945 saying that the war was over at 3 p.m. And they showed that, and it was really cool. I love history. I love World War II stuff. I love just being able to experience even a portion of that, and just to sit there watching the TV and just imagining what it would have been like for them, even though they heard it on the radio and stuff. And it wasn't close to me sitting on my couch watching it on TV dressed up and all of that. It was very different. But just to experience it in that way, it was so cool. And if you guys didn't manage to watch that, I'd recommend you guys starting your party by listening to that speech and then just going into your party. So yeah, for the party, what we're obviously doing, so I am dressed up a little bit, got my pearls on. I'm kind of dressed like they would have back then to celebrate. And the dress code for our party today is red, white, and blue, so Britain's colours. And I tried to do victory rolls in my hair, which is how they would have done it back then. It didn't quite work. I'm sure they would have used a lot of hairspray, but I've kind of just done a really loose version of that. But yeah, dress to your nines. I mean, it is the 20s, and like I said, the roaring 20s. So we're kind of blending that in as well when they used to dress to their nines, and we're blending that in with 40s styles. So it's quite cool. So yeah, rule number one of this party, dress up. Just do it. It's fun. Even if you don't dress up like they did back in the day, just put a nice dress and just dress up. We don't get to go out. We don't get to party like we used to. So why not just dress up even if you're just at home? It's just something nice. It feels nice. So yeah, do that. Number two, food. What party is complete without food? So we're having an afternoon tea party. So we're making mini sausage rolls. Now I'm a vegetarian, so they're mini veggie sausage rolls. We made that from scratch, and then we made a Victoria sponge cake, very British. Come on. And then I'm making an English trifle this afternoon as well. Just need to remind myself. You guys should do that, but yeah, like me, remind yourself not to be like Rachel from Friends and put in beef in it. Friends joke, guys. So yeah, that's the third thing, food. Drinks wise, obviously we're gonna have tea. Oh, scones, food, 3 scones. Make sure to have scones. Yes, I say scones, not scones, because I think it's scones. Jam, cream, all of that. And yeah, number 4, tea. I'm not much of a tea drinker, but I'm gonna do it because it is a tea party and we're being British. But I might have a bit of coffee afterwards too, because I'm very much a coffee person. And lemonade, apple juice, all the kind of traditional drinks that you would expect at a party 75 years ago. Look it up. If you can't think of other things to add, if you want to do a dinner party or a lunch party, look up recipes online. Like, I don't know how to make sausage rolls, but we looked it up online and we're making it. So just look things up. Look at the things they would have had back then and kind of do that. Oh, and cucumber sandwiches. We're also doing that. Cucumber sandwiches, very British, very tea party-ish. So yeah, so those are the 4 main things. Number 5, equally as important. So make sure to have music. So we're playing music from the day, so do that. Don't play now music. Don't do that. Have music like Vera Lynn. Have music like anthems that they would have played back then. I love listening to things like that. You know, when you watch old movies, like things like The Notebook or Pearl Harbor and things, and you hear that music, I love it. I love music like that. There's this one song that I absolutely adore, and I can't think of what it's called, but it's really romantic, and it's from the 40s, and it's so nice, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to try and put it in the description below, because I love it. But yeah, just play tunes like We'll Meet Again, Vera Lynn, all of that stuff, and just jam to that, just dance along to that, have a party. And number 6, optional. All of these are optional, but I'm saying optional because I'm not actually doing this, but put up decoration, put up some bunting, and just really go all out. Why not? It is a day to celebrate. So yeah, so those are the top 6 things I'd recommend for your VE Day party. And then make sure to tune in at 9 p.m. to watch the Queen's speech. At 9 p.m. 75 years ago, the King, our Queen's dad, gave his speech to commemorate the end of World War II, and the Queen will now come in and she'll share her experience of that and share some other stuff. So make sure to tune into that at 9. But from 8 onwards, they're actually showing various things on TV. They're doing celebrations, and they're talking to people who are still alive, who were alive back then, and they're talking to grandchildren of those people. They're talking to celebrities. They're talking to a variety of people. There's music, there's celebration. So that's from 8 p.m. I think that's on BBC One, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, just remember this day however you want to, just commemorate it, because it's an important day. I've always wanted to meet someone, a veteran, someone from World War II. I've always wanted to meet someone, and I'm still, yet to this day, I haven't actually been able to speak to anyone who was in the Second World War, and I'd love to do that. My sister's neighbor actually was in the Second World War, and she moved into that house, and her and my brother-in-law moved into the house, and we visited once, but he was out, so her neighbor was out, and then we were planning to go again, but unfortunately her neighbor died. So yeah, but that was a bit of a morbid thing to bring this down. But no, seriously, I've always wanted to meet a World War II veteran. It's like been a little dream of mine, so I'm still hoping that will happen. Yeah, we owe so much to them, and I think it's just important that we remember them on this day and we celebrate this day. So yeah, whatever you do, make sure you have fun and stay safe. Don't go out and have a party. Just keep it inside with the people that you live with, please and thank you. And if you guys do go ahead and have a party, or if you celebrate in any way, just let me know. I'd love to see it. I'd love to be tagged in your Instagram, to be tagged in your posts, and to be tweeted. I'd love to see the outfits you guys have. If you guys tried the victory rolls, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see the food you guys have and your own take on your party. Please do send that my way. Instagram Abby_S_2.0, and on Twitter it's Abby_3Tharin. So yeah, I'll put it below so you guys can tag me in that. And if you guys have been inspired by this, be sure to press the like button and leave me a comment as well. I'd love to see how your parties turn out. And have a good VE day. See you guys very soon. Bye.